Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Murder, where I'll be talking about and reviewing an episode of Poirot, Murder, She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder, or Jonathan Creek. Today, I'm looking at Diagnosis Murder, Santa Claude, or as I like to call it, that time Christmas was depressing. We begin the episode with, hold up, why are we black and white and spooky? Merry Christmas, I guess. This guy hotwires a truck before springing back into reality, and hey, it's Naomi Wildman from Voyager, who broke her leg. Mark talks to Claude about needing a barbershop quartet before he performs a magic trick for Judy and collapses. And into the credits we go. Mark sits down with Claude and breaks the news that he has cancer and 6 months to live, but Claude seems to be okay with it. Aw, Mark, what are these two doing? Anyway, Mark tells Steve that Claude has no life insurance and therefore no end-of-life care, so Steve offers to make some calls. And these two are still acting weird, but turns out they want to sing at the Christmas party. They're not great. Jesse rants to Amanda about how commercial Christmas is, and they're approached by Madison, who was to Paul's mum in Enterprise, collecting for the homeless. Claude is back in work, all chipper, while Mark tries to recruit Amanda for the barbershop quartet, but she freezes up, and then Steve shows up saying Claude doesn't actually exist. His name is actually Andrew, and he's an escaped convict, having murdered his wife. They sit down with Claude, who says he's innocent because he was framed, and Mark says Steve can't take Claude back to prison because he's sick. Jesse rushes through, giving Madison the name of his hypnotist friend for Mark, only to find his car has been broken into and all his gifts stolen. The hypnotist puts Claude under and asks him about the day of his wife's murder. So he recounts he got home in a storm and found his wife dead, where he got hit over the head and woke up in time to get arrested. But he does remember the smell of s'mores. Now out of his trance, Claude recalls that his wife and her friend Lily used to make them, but Steve doesn't buy it. So Mark guilt trips him into agreeing to investigate right before someone comes to try and take Claude away. Mark buys Claude until Monday, so Steve can talk to the investigator on the case, who says the day she was murdered, Claude's wife went to borrow chocolate from a neighbor, but it wasn't found at the scene, nor did she eat it. Steve heads next to visit Lily, who gushes about how much she and Sharon were besties, and she didn't see her the day she died because of the storm, and her ex can vouch for her. Off Steve goes to talk to him, and he says he was out the day of the murder until the storm hit, and he went home to find Lily not there. He admits to having an affair with Sharon and bought her expensive earrings, so Lily probably knew about it, but she never said anything. Jesse agrees to help Madison feed the homeless from Barbecue Bob's, while Steve reports back to the captain, who says Sharon's earrings were ripped off her, so they go to search through Lily's stuff. So she grabs a gun and a shot is heard. Mark tells Tolliver that Lily was the killer, but he points out Claude still broke out of jail and he has to be taken back, which infuriates Mark. Steve comforts him, while Jesse buys Claude a few more hours with the help of this waitress, and then bullshits Steve into working Barbecue Bob's for the homeless, instead of him. Did Mark just pickpocket Tolliver? He goes to yell at Claude while Mark dopes Tolliver's drink, and Steve complains to Jesse that he has no helpers to feed the homeless, before Claude plays Santa and Tolliver drinks himself half unconscious. Jesse surprises Mark with a barbershop quartet, so they sing together, and Madison heads to Barbecue Bob's, where Steve has managed to feed everyone. Tolliver is completely asleep by the time the quartet sing a song from Mary Poppins, but Claude doesn't want to get anyone into trouble. However, Mark sneaks him out to flee to Mexico. Okay, that was weird. They just committed a crime and then fa-la-la'd into Christmas like it's nothing. They drugged a man and then helped an escaped prisoner flee the country. I know he was innocent, but seriously, that made me feel like I'm an accessory to something. It's a pretty miserable episode because it starts with a cancer diagnosis and somehow manages to go downhill from there. Lily's end was horrible and hollow, and honestly, I think they set it at Christmas to try and bring some sort of joy into this miserable pile of despair. And even Jesse, he complained about Christmas, had his car broken into, volunteered to feed the homeless, only to dump the workload on Steve in order to commit a crime. I'm trying to think of something positive to say about this episode because I'm seriously bummed out. I guess Steve getting along with the captain was a nice little buddy cop moment, but that's all I've got because I'm miserable after that. Claude found his wife murdered, took the fall, broke out of prison, had to leave his home, then got diagnosed with 6 months left to live. So he fled to Mexico, leaving once again everything he cared about behind. Man, what a downer. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm gonna go cry now. We have one victim, Sharon Basevich, who was stabbed in her own home by our killer, Lily Andrews, who sought revenge on her best friend for having an affair with her husband. So there you have it. That was Santa Claude. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot, or consider subscribing if you want to keep investigating with me. Alternatively, feel free to check out my other YouTube channels. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and keep an eye out for clues.